Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, recently maintained that the federal government was no longer fixing the pump price of petroleum products. Silva, who was reacting to the recent hike in the ex-depot price of a litre of petrol from about 139 naira to approximately 152 naira, explained that the federal government was more interested in protecting the interests of consumers from unjust profiteering by petroleum products marketers. In this report, correspondent Tekena Amiofori takes a look at the impact of deregulation in the petroleum sector and what the federal government must do with the savings from the stop of subsidy payments.
From 2006 to 2019, the federal government reportedly spent a whopping 10 trillion naira to subsidize cost of fuel, although it was touted as a deliberate policy to reduce economic hardship on Nigerians. The corrupt subsidy regime only benefited a charmed circle of Nigerian businessmen and women with government connections. Faced with an economic slowdown and unable to fund its 2020 budget, the federal government finally put a stop to fuel subsidy payments in June this year. In the month of September, following an increase in the ex-depot price of petrol from roughly 139 naira to 151 naira per litre, the essential commodity now sells for between 159 naira and 162 naira per litre.
We cannot be suffering water, light and fuel again in our own country. Other countries are making use of our fuel freely. It's not fair.
Should try to their best to make sure they decrease the price of the fuel so that it will help the people that are transporting, just like we, taxi driver, and the passenger as well.
In view of the economic hardship the recent fuel price hike now imposes on the masses, the federal government has been advised to deploy huge funds saved through the stoppage of subsidy payments to provide basic amenities that most Nigerians can no longer afford.
That subsidy removal should now be plowed back into ensuring that our four refineries are working. We want to encourage the government to plow back that money that is saved from subsidy removal into infrastructural development, into health issues, into road matters, so that the country can function much more efficiently.
The subsidy removal in Nigeria is long overdue. The money you should be using in paying for subsidy, you can plug it into infrastructural development, provision of health care for the masses, provision of roads, provision of education for the less privileged, and then improved standard transportation system, not excluding agriculture.
Most industry players are in support of a deregulated downstream sector where prices of petroleum products will be determined by market forces. They are, however, not too sure if the federal government has fully embraced proper deregulation with the country's major regulator of the petroleum industry through its subsidiary, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company, still involved in price fixing of petroleum products.
Once the regulation is fully implemented, it means that there is no regulatory authority that's going to be talking about pricing. The business will be determined by the forces of demand and supply. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of benefit.
To sustain the policy of deregulation in the petroleum downstream sector, the government must immediately fix the country's 4 ailing refineries and ensure that they operate at optimal capacity. No less imperative is the need to speed up the process of building modular refineries to compete favorably with the national refineries. This will check monopoly and provide employment that will create wealth for unemployed citizens.
Inside the Niger Delta,